Good morning, everyone. Happy 250th birthday to the greatest country to ever exist. Carmine and I can argue about that later. We're going to get into some World Cup soccer. I got to get those soccer fans feisty in the comment section first. We're going to talk America's favorite pastime up first with Adam Trigger. Marco D'Angelo and I are going to talk America's least favorite pastime. And Carmine Bianco again and I are going to talk how his World Cup run has been absolutely epic and how I have been failing at tailing. We're going to bring in Trigger right away. He's fresh off total bases this morning. Him, Tokyo Brandon, Brian Leonard, every single weekday, including Saturdays. They go on and they break down the baseball slate. Trig, welcome in. How was the show?
Show was great, and I'm glad that we're getting going right away because here's the deal. On the show, I gave out a 4% play. This game starts at 11:05. So if you missed total bases, the reason that it was sort of a late ad for me, the Nationals switched up what they were going to do with their pitching a little bit. They're going to go with Carson Palmquist as an opener in front of Zach Littell. So real quick breakdown, because really you should be pulling your apps up and betting this as I'm talking because it starts in 4 minutes. But quick breakdown for the game. Carson Palmquist comes from the Rockies organization. He's someone that I like. He was like a third rounder. Just never really he kind of fizzled out for the Rockies. Pitching in altitude never seemed to be his thing. And of course, the Rockies know better than anyone how to ruin guys, ruin prospects. It's a bad organization. And the Nationals picked him up earlier this year. Nationals have a lot of good people in place in their farm system. They're doing well developing talent now. And I actually got to see him pitch in Rochester 2 weeks ago through a great game. I thought he's been throwing the ball well for the AAA team. So what they're going to do here is probably use him as almost like a multi-inning opener, which I like because the Nationals, their big issue has been their bullpen arms. So what they're going to do is probably let Palmquist maybe go an inning or two. They're going to bring in Zach Littell, who's probably even better than I think many thought he would be this year. He's kind of a veteran guy, so you kind of know what you're going to get out of him. But the key here is Braxton Ashcraft is one of the better pitchers in the league. He's right behind Skeens. He's the Pirates' best pitcher, and he gets priced like that. So you can actually, so we played Nationals plus 1.5, minus 115. Take the extra run. If you like the underdog, take the dog. But what I noticed about Ashcraft, so I hit a 5% play backing the Pirates on Monday with Ashcraft on the mound, leaving a lot out over the plate. So a lot of balls sort of leaking out over the plate, gave up a couple bombs. Bryce Harper hit one to the moon, and the Nationals are actually a very good hitting team. Hitting metrics way up, like top. They've been like pretty much a top 5 hitting team all year. So a couple things here. I think the Nationals are going to get to Ashcraft. They're going to hit the ball. And I also think this pitching setup for the Nats isn't the worst thing in the world. Palmquist for a couple, Littell for a couple. Hopefully they're better bullpen arms. So I took Nationals plus 1.5, 4% play for clients. Had to come on and give it out because that starts in 2 minutes. So fire up those apps, get it in. Kelly, it's going to be 101 in Washington, D.C. today.
I know. They canceled, I think, the 4th of July parade. It's storming here in Florida. I needed to stop raining. It was raining yesterday. We got a little bit of reprieve for about 5 hours to see the fireworks. So that was nice. But it is storming again. I can't believe that it's hotter in 99% of the East Coast than it is in the Sunshine State. Trig coming in hot, giving you guys out a free 4% play, fresh off total basis. Guys, question real quick in the chat. Where's VR? You're right. VR opens the show almost every single weekend. I told him he could have the holiday off.
I tried to match his energy. But I'll never get there. No, he's one of a kind.
It doesn't matter. We got you taken care of. They're happy to see you too, Trig, in the comments section. Getting us started off hot. Let's talk about the rest of this baseball slate. We've got games basically starting right now all the way up until 10 p.m. tonight. So if you guys have a question about one of those games on the slate or even a game on tomorrow's slate, which is a pretty full slate as well. We're knee deep here into baseball season, Trig. So I have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call it 50% of the way through baseball season. It's not quite. It's like more like a third because it doesn't end until.
No, you're good. We're about 50% through. We're about
through the regular season, I guess. I keep thinking October. We're about to have the All-Star break here, I think next weekend, correct? What are we looking for? Which kind of teams are we looking to bet on? Which kind of teams are we looking to bet against headed into that All-Star break and then beyond?
Yeah, it's a really good question because, listen, these guys, so you talk about a baseball season and being a grind. Then you talk about a year like this year, where a lot of these players played in the World Baseball Classic. You know, the World Baseball Classic was going on in February, right? So some of these guys have been playing without a break since February. And then even if they didn't go to the WBC, they're in spring training, they're in camp. This week gets a little dicey in terms of like, you know, not even an effort thing, but it's like guys are just gassed, right? They're looking at that week off, and it's like anyone can relate to this. If you work and you know you've got a week off coming up, like just getting there is tough in that last sort of week leading into it. And so what I do think you're going to see, I think let's take a team like the Dodgers and let's talk Padres Dodgers. I'll put it in the context of tonight's game and then some Dodger games coming up. The Dodgers are 26 games over 500. Okay. This is a team that's going to be priced like a premium option every single day. And deservedly so. They are the best team in the league from a talent standpoint. They have the most standpoint. They've won multiple world championships. This next week or so I think for the Dodgers is going to be, let's just show up. Let's go through the motions. Some guys might be getting days off. You might see innings spread around a little bit. And Kelly, I guess the point I'm trying to make is very rarely over the next couple of weeks, which is now until the All-Star break or next week and week, I suppose, are you going to see the Dodgers justifying their price tag? And I think tonight is not. I don't think tonight is an exception for that. I know they have their ace on the mound in Yamamoto, but you're talking about a huge. I mean, you could get Padres right now plus 1.5 if you want at like even money. You can get the Padres at over a 2-1 dog. This is a team that just got absolutely embarrassed a couple days ago by the Cubs, gave up 23 runs. Then they lost a game they had a 6-0 lead in, and then they lost a game by 1 last night that they had a lead in. So, you know, the Padres are a team that like are still a good baseball team, even though that they haven't maybe played as good as they should have so far this year. Bunch of superstars that are really underachieving for them. Fernando Tatis not having a great year. Manny Machado not having a great year. Bogarts is down there with not reaching his typical career numbers. Jackson Merrill not having a great year. These are superstar type guys that I think like have to play better than they've played to this point. I think the Padres are a very live underdog tonight. I like them plus 1.5 because you know what? The Dodgers, man, they just find a way, kind of like they did last night. So yesterday on Total Bases, I gave Padres plus 1.5 out as a potential option. They lost the game by 1, so that cashed. I see no reason not to run it back here. And listen, if you want a live underdog, nice price, Padres money line, tonight feels like the night they get it done. They're kind of due for a W, in my opinion.
All right. We got a question here in the chat. What do you think is the biggest pitching mismatch on today's MLB slate, Trig?
Yeah, biggest pitching mismatch. There's a couple. I'll rattle them off. Merrill Kelly's been awful for the Diamondbacks. So I think Woodruff against Merrill Kelly is a pretty big mismatch. That being said, that game went to extra innings last night, and I don't think the Brewers bullpen is in great shape. So I might be more inclined to go first 5 there because you isolate the Woodruff versus Kelly matchup, and then you're not worried about the bullpens. Sonny Gray for the Red Sox against Sam Aldeguerri is a pretty big mismatch. I don't really love the Red Sox because they're on the road and they don't hit particularly well. But that is if you're just talking pitching mismatch, Gray versus Aldeguerri is a pretty big one. And then I would say I would say those are probably the two that I see like big time advantages in starting pitching. I would say the best play out of either of those is probably Brewers first 5 against the Diamondbacks because Merrill Kelly, he's just not it anymore. It's not, he's one of these guys that's a little bit older. I think he's probably 37, 38 years old right now. And he's just started to look his age out there. I always felt like he was like, it was amazing. Like, I'm like, man, this guy's 36. He's still at the top of his game. Last year to this year, I felt like he's really sort of fallen off. And I think he's kind of a fade right now. Kelly, I hope they don't say that about me. I just turned 40. I don't like, oh,
say, Greg, you sound a little hypocritical as a guy who just turned 40. Happy belated birthday to Trig. If you guys have a question for him, And drop it in the chat. Good morning,
I see one, and he says he's talking crazy. These guys will play hard right up to the break. Yes, 99, almost every other team. What you have to understand about the Dodgers is they could play backups from now until the break, and they will still win the division. They will still go to the playoffs, and they will still likely be in the World Series. This is the Dodgers are not everyone, okay? This is a very specific example of a team that has done nothing but win for years. And I really don't think for the Dodgers, the focus is going to be going balls to the wall from now to the All-Star break. There's 26 games. And here's where you want actual evidence of this being the case. Just go back to last year, because that week and a half before the All-Star break last year, they were terrible. It was just like probably roll out of the bed, show up to the ballpark.
And admittedly, we know the three sports that we're talking today are probably my worst three sports. All jokes aside there, Trig, but think about this, whether it's the NBA, whether it's resting, starters week 17, 18 of the NFL season, kind of right now is like that chance to heal some of those lingering injuries, hit that ice bath a little bit more, maybe rest a couple of guys that just need it. You mentioned age, whether it's age or injury, because you're right. Some of these games matter, but in the big scheme of things for the Dodgers, it's World Series or bust.
And it's not only that, Kelly, they are 26 games over 500. This is what I'm talking. Like the every other team doesn't have this luxury because they're so far ahead. And even if someone were to close the gap a little bit, they just know, like, we have far and away the better players. We could go out and put a playoff. If we really wanted to, we could run the table in September. Like, that is how good. That's what people are failing to realize. That is how good the Dodgers are, right? That they can go half speed. I actually don't. I think they've been playing at about 75% capacity all year. They've had guys hurt. They rotate guys in and out. Wait till you see the Dodgers team that shows up in October. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is, because that is how good this collection of players is. So no, and the other key here is where they're priced. Remember, like if they're going to lay 250 every day, if you're going to lay 250 in a Major League Baseball game, you want it to be like last night where the Yankees have lost 7 straight games. And it's like, if we don't win in the Bronx tonight, Ariel's going to like blow up our team bus because we're going to lose an 8th straight. That's what I'm saying.
I was going to bring up the Yankees and I thought, you know what? I better not. So we're going to take this as our last question before we get you out of here and get to Marco D'Angelo. What about the Reds today, Adam Trigger?
Yeah, I got my Orioles hat on that I got at Camden Yards the other day. So I guess it's fitting we talk Reds, Orioles. Here's the tough part with this one. I feel like you missed your shot to bet the Orioles last night. Last night's game was a better spot to back the Orioles. They go out, believe they won 3-0 behind a pretty good pitching performance. I'm much less inclined to fade the Reds after last night's game and with Hunter Green on the mound. So it's like, even though Hunter Green, I don't know that you know exactly what you're going to get out of him at this point. He was rehabbing. He's like coming off of injury. I trust the Orioles a lot less here. So that was one I didn't have a huge opinion on. But like for me, when I was doing my work this morning, I said, no, you missed your chance on the Orioles. So I guess Reds or pass, but man, that is not a strong opinion for me. And Sean Higgs is probably right. Higgs is probably right. He's like Hunter Green first game back.
Section. Good morning, Sean Higgs. Welcome to the show. This is why you take the Dodgers season win total under. But if they're 26 games over 500, what was their season total? I'm guessing the high 80s, low 90s.
Oh, no. They were at least somewhere in the 90s. I don't remember what it was, but yeah,
they're and John Murray's season win totals are going. I try not. It was for the Kelly Murray show for a long time where I just roused him, but I got to wait till at least August. Right now, it's just, we're on cruise control, 104.5.
That is great. I thought it was high. I don't remember it being that high, but that is insane. Yeah, that might not get there.
Wow. All right, last comment. Joey bets. Tampa goes all in and lands another ace pitcher, a premier bat, and a stud reliever. You just need all those 3 things. They can challenge and take down the Dodgers. All right, guys, it has been fun talking America's pastime on America's 250th birthday. Trig, I will let you have the last word. Let everybody know when they can catch total bases, and what you've got going on over at wagertalk.com.
Yeah, total base is 6 days a week. Monday through Friday, we're on at 9 a.m. On Saturdays, we go an hour later so we can go before this show, 10 a.m. Eastern. We kind of talk baseball the same way we just did for the last 15 minutes, except I have two other studs with me, Tokyo Brandon, Brian Leonard. If you're looking for baseball picks, we have a great special on the site. It's called the Double Play. It lets you pick two of the three of us. Baseball season's gone great for me to this point. Plus 36.64 units coming into today on the season. So hopefully we keep that going in the right direction. And yeah, we've got, really good 4th of July specials on our page as well. So check those out and come join us for Total Bases every weekday, 9 a.m. Eastern.
All right, Adam Trigger, thank you for joining the show. Make sure you guys are giving him a follow at Adam Trigger WT over on social media. We're going to bring in Marco D'Angelo. Guys asking about VR in the comment section. And he's that third part of Bet On It here with me. And Marco, he is off today, but I didn't give Marco the option. I said, Marco, we need an owner from Wager Talk, not named me, that has to work every single holiday. Marco D'Angelo, welcome in. I actually laugh because I know you can also talk baseball. So I was going to carry over a little bit of baseball talk, take a couple of these other questions. But I want to talk WNBA because you've been on absolute fire with WNBA props, and my biggest complaint is I can only get down $300. It actually makes me angry to win these bets that you text me and Johnny Detroit. You're like, hey, I got this 4% play. Hey, I got this 3% play today. And then I can't get enough action down. I think I need some more accounts.
Kelly, that's the only problem with it. But you know what? Just keep cashing those tickets, and that'll get you a bottle of wine. Just look at it that way. All right, so we're good there. And I know you poo-pooed the least favorite sport, the WNBA. So before we get to the WNBA, can we back up to that Cincinnati Baltimore game that Trey really didn't have an opinion on? I actually do. So
yeah,
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and give it out. I was on Baltimore last night in that because it was one of my favorite angles. You had Cincinnati coming off a big series against Milwaukee. They were returning home from a road trip. I thought it was a flat spot for them last night, and I took advantage of the pitching matchup with Baltimore, cash the ticket. But if you know me, I love taking the road team, fading the home team, returning home from a road trip. But when they lose that first game, I am going to look at the home team to bounce back in game 2. And the fact that Hunter Green is going tonight, he's making his first start of the season. I know a lot of people, they shy away from a pitcher that, missed a good part of the season with an injury. I'm just the opposite, Kelly. I like to take these guys in their first start. Several reasons, especially if you're one of their better pitchers or an ace. They're not going to send you out there if you're not ready. They're not going to risk further injury to you. Also, the pitcher that works so hard to get back to the big show, he is locked in for that first start back, like he will be no other start until maybe you get to the playoffs. And then, I like to look at angles, look at emotion. His teammates are going to give that extra 110%. You know how we talk about the injured player theory, how teams step it up. Well, when a guy comes back off a long injury, his teammates know how hard he worked to get back there. They're going to give a little extra to try to get him the win. And then we look at the numbers. He had 3 outings in rehab, AAA, coming off a gem in the last one. He's ready to go. I like Cincinnati and Hunter Green tonight.
Okay, we're getting answers to the questions that you guys have. You guys have a question about Major League Baseball or, of course, the WNBA. You guys can drop it in the chat. If you have a soccer question, you got to wait. Carmine Bianco will be coming up next. We're going to talk, I think, 6 World Cup games, which is a lot for me, Marco. I mean, I bashed the WNBA being like a product in baseball, being a meh product, but man, I'm over soccer. I need the United States to win just to catapult me into the next 4 years. It's probably not going to happen. That is what it is. Marco, talk to me about one other baseball game that narrowly missed your card today.
Narrowly missed my card today. It's an ugly one, but I think Kansas City. I think Kansas City has a good shot tonight in there. they still may make the card. I've got 2 plays in the card so far for today, including a big 4%, which we've done well on. But I'm looking at this Kansas City game, and I'm waiting to see exact lineups and see what the market does with this game, because they're a team that, granted, Kelly, you look at their record, you don't want any part of them, but I don't think they are quite as bad as their record are, and I think they are a live home dog today. So I know you like those dogs, and where you can get that plus money. So that is the candidate. Right now, if I had 3 plays, that would have been the 3rd play. Still may be. There's still time today.
Ooh, the Royals. What a way to possibly ruin 4th of July for your clients. But hey, I get it. I too love those stinky dogs on occasion. Let's talk some WNBA here, Marco. You've been absolutely crushing, as I alluded to start your segment. It's been really fun, especially when they're easy. Like, we're cashing like mid-3rd quarter. And those types of scenarios are like, great. I can just turn the TV off and watch something I actually want to watch.
Have you actually ever watched a WNBA game? Come on, be honest.
First of all, I've been to several Aces games. I know that Ski Profit and I go round and round and round about the WNBA all the time. But listen, money is money, and you have found your niche in this, as has he. And so I love tailing both of you guys. Whether I actually have to watch the games or not, does that really matter, Marco?
Just cash the ticket and then complain you couldn't get enough down.
I know. I will say it is just, because you know why? Because it is such a sharp market. It's not a recreational bettors market. It is sharp guys betting into it. Lines are moving heavily. And I understand bookmakers, legal and, otherwise, don't want to get crushed by these sharper numbers. And you have found it with Asia Wilson. You have found it with, who was it the other day? The Texas A&M.
Cheyenne Carter. And
yes.
Kelly, that is a perfect example in that particular game why the WNBA market is so inefficient. The player props, as you know, all they are, Kelly, is season averages. Okay, that's what they start the number at. They look at what a player's season average is, and then they look at the last 3 to 5 games and see if they're trending a little over that average or under, and then they'll adjust from that number. Very small. But what they don't account for is when there's an injury in a game. And the other night, Asia Wilson was out of the game. Okay, so yes, they make adjustments to the point spread. They make adjustments to the over-under, but the player props get missed. When you take a player like Asia Wilson out of a game, that's 25, 26 points she averages, 32 to 34 minutes per game she averaged playing. That production has to come from somewhere else, and they don't adjust the other markets. And it's those secondary players that have smaller season averages because they don't play as many minutes, suddenly get more minutes and get those totals easily. And that's how we cashed that total, that player prop halfway through the 3rd quarter the other night.
Love that, Marco. Okay, WNBA, nice little slate of games for today and tomorrow. Do you have anything up on WagerTalk.com currently for any of these games?
I don't have anything on today's games that were official plays as of yet. I did give out this one. This is going to be a double give out because if you watched Marco's Deli yesterday, I did give this one out. Golden State is at Atlanta tonight. This is a quick revenge spot for Atlanta. Last week, they played Golden State not once, but twice in Golden State. I'm not a fan of playing the same team 2 games in a row during the regular season, but it is what it is. And Atlanta lost both of those games. So they definitely have this one circled. But you look and see that Atlanta's lost 4 games in a row, but it's a misleading streak. They came off a horrible scheduling stretch. They had to play 3 games in 4 days. Those 2 games against Golden State, they did have a day in between those 2 games, but then they had to turn around after the second Golden State game and travel from Golden State to Seattle to play the very next night. We know that's an angle a lot of people look at in the NBA, teams playing 3 games in 4 days on the road with the travel and everything, how hard it is for an NBA team. Well, think about the WNBA. Okay, so that was a horrible spot for them, and they lost in Seattle. Then, because we had the Commissioner's Cup game on Tuesday, the rest of the league had a couple days off. So instead of going home and relaxing, well, they got to go home, but then they had to turn around and go back out for the final game of that road trip after sitting at home for a couple days. And they played Washington and got upset, where I think they got caught looking ahead the other night to this game with the double revenge for Atlanta. I'm going to go ahead and take the Dream. I have them as one of my top 5 teams in the WNBA this year. I think they get the revenge here. They're -4.5. I'm going to go ahead and lay it with Atlanta. Golden State's a much better team at home than they are on the road.
Any thoughts on Joey's bets that he's got for today?
And what are those bets? I don't have the chat up.
Sorry, right here on the screen. Golden State, Atlanta, first half under 80.5. Golden State plus 3.5. He says Atlanta tends to start slow.
Atlanta can start slow, but the Golden State, where you want to take Golden State in first half wagers is when they're at home. They have been dynamite. I think they're at like 10-2 or 11-2 now on the season. It's just a tough place to play there. And one of the reasons is because Golden State is one of the few teams in the WNBA, Kelly, that does play defense. And so I think they frustrate teams at the beginning of games because, the WNBA, sometimes it looks like, Olay defense where they just let players drive the lane and go by. Golden State is not that type of team. But that advantage that they had and have on teams in that first half, I think that's negated by the fact that Atlanta's going to be facing them for the 3rd time in like 10 days. So I don't think there's as big an advantage there for that one. So I hate to disagree with our viewers, but I have to today on that one.
All right, Marco, let everybody know what you got going on this summer. Bet on It's going to be back probably, I'm going to call it 6-ish weeks. We're going to start doing some college football NFL previews. We're also going to do some individual content, which I haven't even told Marco and VR about yet from last week's video call. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for football season to be back. But until then, you've got the deli going on. I know you appear on WagerTalk today. What else is in the docket? You taking some time off? Because I didn't see it in the calendar.
I took 2 weeks off last week. I didn't take time. There is never time off, Kelly. Okay. I just changed my office, and boy, what a view it was. Went to Myrtle Beach, and nothing like handicapping off your balcony looking at the ocean.
No kidding. And now you know why I moved to Florida.
All right, guys. So that was it. I got a wedding coming up in July. My niece is getting married, and Kelly, unlike your friends and family, my family knows not to get married in football season. They get married in the summer.
At least they get married on Fridays. At least they know, like, get married on a Friday if you're going to do it.
So we're good. We're good there. And they even did it on All-Star Week.
Oh, that's great. See, perfect timing. Yeah, I have no weddings this year. I think there might be actually one on like December 30th, but thank God. I had enough weddings last year. Okay. So Deli's up every week. WagerTalk Today is up every week. Anything else you'd like to add?
And we're putting plays up every day, Kelly. In baseball, we've tooted my horn about how good the WNBA has been. Baseball for me, as the season goes on, my numbers get stronger and stronger the way I handicap. We were top 3 in the month of June in baseball at WagerTalk. We are currently on a 16-8 overall run with all of our plays the last 10 days. And my 4% and higher plays. Now, there was only one 5% in that streak. Okay. I know everybody loves to play the 5% plays. And, that's a good way to attack things. But Kelly, I don't release big plays all the time. Okay. A 4%.
Oh, you're pretty selective, Marco, because I can see everything on the back end. And I would say Marco's one of the more selective guys, which I appreciate. I don't want just, I think these 5% should be reserved for very, very selective plays.
We're 4% and higher. We're on an 8-2 run. We have a 4% today. Like I said, last night we had Baltimore as a 4. I've got a 4 today. You can check that out over at WagerTalk. And, you can buy today's package. We got a bonus play in there. $29 gets you both plays. But why spend $29, Kelly? Okay. Why spend $39 for all access for everything today? You can pick up right now at WagerTalk the 4th of July special. 7 days, instead of $99, we're giving it to you for the price of 3 days. 3 days is $69. Buy the 7-day package right now. It's only $69. Get every play, every sport. And yeah, Kelly, I even sprinkle in a few horse bets. I'm taking after you as far as degenerate. I was watching my last horse bet. I gave the Ohio Derby when I was flying back from Myrtle Beach on the plane. We gave it out to clients. I handicapped it at the airport, got there a little bit too early, had time, and we gave the clients a winner in the Ohio Derby, and I was watching it at 30,000 feet come home. So, yes, I may have a problem.
Hey, listen, I love that. I love that. The internet's gotten so much better on airplanes. It's almost like I don't hate flying anymore. 4th of July special over at wagertalk.com. 7 days for the price of 3. Now only $69. Marco D'Angelo, thank you for joining us. I cannot wait for football season to hang out with you in VR every single Wednesday. Don't forget, if you are a WagerTalk insider, you get early access to all things Bet on It. Marco, we'll see you soon. Hope you enjoy that.
Happy 4th, everybody.
Happy 4th, everyone. Let's bring in someone from the 51st state. His name is Carmine Bianco. We're here to talk World Cup. Sorry, Marco teed me up for that one. Marco teed me up. I love our friends and family to the north. Carmine.
Yes.
Happy 4th of July. I want to talk about this run right out of the gate. It is, we got let's call it 28 minutes to talk World Cup, which is entirely too long for me. Entirely too long. I want to talk about this, though. Why is it not adding to the stage? There we go.
There we go.
You guys, I am in a chat with Ariel Epstein, Carmine Bianco, and Tom Viola. If you guys don't know Tom, he's one of our producers over at WagerTalk. I have been so frustrated with the World Cup. And I think a lot of my frustration is that I just haven't been blindly tailing Carmine. Why? I don't know. Carmine, what a great run you've had through the knockout stage. Now we're headed into the round of 16.
Yep.
Let's talk about it. We've got 2 matches today, excuse me, if you will.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's essentially over the next 3-4 days. It's going to be 2 matches a day. Canada and Morocco, France and Paraguay today, and then tomorrow Brazil and Norway, Mexico and England. That Mexico-England one, I just wanted to quickly touch on it. I'm driving our office crazy because FIFA announced the game was being moved time-wise because of incoming storm. So they moved it back 6 hours to start at 2 p.m. Eastern time. They have now come out with a statement last night saying, no, we're going to play it back at 8 o'clock. So it's back
not
at 8
moved.
o'clock at night. No, it's not moved. It is back at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So maybe they're just trying to get the betting public involved because there's nothing else going on at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Listen, we have Premier Lacrosse tomorrow night. I want you to know that. So there is stuff going on.
Yeah, you've been rocking it with those picks. You have been rocking it.
Marco has been rocking it with WNBA props. And if I was just betting Dan and Ariel's PLL props, we'd be retired at $150 a pop because that's all I can get down on. I complain about the WNBA limits. They give me nothing. I'm not allowed to bet anything on Premier Lacrosse. It is so frustrating. But we're here to talk World Cup. We're just going to go right down the list. I know you've got plays up on wagertalk.com, so apologies if somehow these questions coincide. You can just feel free to say, hey, guess what, guys? I got that play up for sale, but you mentioned it right off the top. The entire comment section since the beginning of the show has basically been anti-Canada. Everyone's saying that Canada has no shot to win this match. And I'm going, all right, I understand why people like Morocco. I've watched both teams play. Canada has not been great, but no one likes them here. What are we missing? Am I thinking this is maybe a buy low spot on Canada?
No, I get the sentiment. Obviously coming into this World Cup, Canada had never won a game in the World Cup, having only qualified a couple times back in the 80s and then the 2022 in Qatar. But they win in the group stages, and then they beat South Africa in the knockout stages. Is that the ceiling for the team? I think it very well may be. Jesse Marsh has done a phenomenal job with this team. They're playing well. One of the things is Alphonso Davies is back and healthy, and at practice he's practicing with the regular team, but he only played like 15 minutes of that game against South Africa last time out. Is the guy ready to play 90 minutes? I sincerely doubt it. Wouldn't surprise me if he's not in the starting lineup at all today, and comes in off the bench. This is one of those games where Canada, it's going to be a tactical affair. Canada knows their only way to win this game is to play like some of these South African sides have played thus far in this tournament, which is defend against, and they're going to have to do that against Morocco. Morocco's a superior team. On paper, Morocco is the better team. This is a team that made it in 2022. They made it to the semifinals before losing, I believe it was to France 3-0, but that was the France-Argentina World Cup where those two met and played till penalties to decide a winner. Morocco's just going to press this Canadian team, take their time. They're not coming out to try and score on Canada quick. It's going to be, like I said, a tactical affair. It's going to be a chess match. And this is why, in all honesty, the best play in this game is not even to take the side, is to take the under. I just don't see how they're getting 3 goals in this game today, because if Morocco scores, Canada's not going to come out of their game plan and suddenly open it up. You watch the Canada games and they do, no disrespect to them, but they do seem a step slower than a lot of the other teams. You watch the Canada game and then you watch another game with a France or an Argentina or a Spain, and it just seems like a quicker paced game. It's still a good Canada team, but I think this is the end of the line for them. But I think the under is the better bet here, because in all honesty, this is one of those games that could very well, if Canada plays well defensively, that they send it into extra time and possibly penalty kicks. Maybe that's their only avenue to winning that game. Kind of like Cape Verde yesterday. God, man, I am so proud of that.
God, wouldn't that have
I'm
been
so
electric?
proud of that team. Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been electric? We'll get to this comment here in a minute, because that's from Carmine right here on Last Call that I bet that. I was cheering hard for Cape Verde. I was at a little get together in between thunderstorms, and it was like the best comparison I saw was like a 16 seed versus a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Argentina, Messi, the GOAT. We all know that team. And we're talking about a group of little islands off the coast of Africa with less than 1 million people. And in the knockout stages, just against the big dog, Argentina scores right away. And I thought, all right, that's it. And I don't know. It was an electric game. I wish they would have won, just for a magnitude of purposes.
Yeah, it's a nation with only 520. That their population is 525,000 people.
Yeah,
and here they are. They made it to the knockout stages and almost knocked out royalty. Football royalty in Argentina. Argentina's got a lot to blame themselves. They went up 1-0 in that game, and I believe that they just sort of like switched off, to use like the English term for football. They switched off and they just thought, okay, this game is ours. It's under control. And then kind of like the Rocky and Apollo, they got up off the mat, Cape Verde, and they fought back. And, even when the game went to extra time and Argentina took the lead, Cape Verde came back and then came back again. I could not believe it. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to pull off this upset. This would be absolutely epic. But it took a fantastic goal to win it for Argentina, and they move on. And the thing is now, Kel, about in any sport, the overreaction. There's like an overreaction now. Like I read some of the tweets last night. Oh, Argentina's finished. If they can't beat the Cape Verde, how are they going to beat the elite? It's one game. where they probably didn't play their best, but they did enough to win.
Yeah, but we've seen other teams kind of sandbag
it
and then go out in the next round. Germany, France, we'll get to them here in a minute. I find that really interesting. Lots of people see Jesse Schul from WagerTalk.com over here saying Canada could be in trouble today. Another Canadian doubting their team. I see this is my problem. I think the reason why I'm not having a good World Cup is because I'm too contrarian. I'm too contrarian to bet the World Cup.
Yeah, and I will say this during the group stages, and I have like a private Discord channel for anyone who bought the World Cup package, and it's still available on my page. I think it's like $99 now. You get every single play, but there's a private channel, and I talk to the guys in the channel who are, and I explain to my thought process on the games, and even on the ones that I don't have. What I think, and on match day one, when the World Cup started, my thought was to fade as many European teams as I could, because they're coming off of late finishes in their seasons. A lot of their players are stars on playing in the Premier League, playing in Spain, playing in Germany, and their seasons finished near the end of May, and then there's Champions League if they're still in it. So there's a quick turnaround for them, and only two weeks of training to try and become a cohesive unit with players that they haven't played with all year long. So I figured it would take them a couple of games to get going. And we saw it. Spain could not score against Cape Verde in the first game. So it happened. And then you wait for the overreaction from people from match day one, and you take advantage of the better prices on match day two. And I've just followed that along the way. And you have to be a contrarian at some point as well too, Kel. And I think being a contrarian in the knockout stages is the better one, because people just assume Argentina is going to smoke them.
Does that also apply for the round of 16?
Yes.
Okay,
I believe so. You look, we're getting better teams right now. Obviously, we're sort of weeding out the teams that don't belong here. There's still a couple that I'm looking at that need to be weeded out, but
yes, of course.
It is like I honestly believe I think it's on Tuesday that Argentina will be playing Egypt, and people will be like, well, Egypt's a much better team than Cape Verde, so they're going to give Argentina all they can handle.
Come on, I know nothing about it, but I know they have him, and he's really good.
Yes, John Murray's favorite player. Yes. John Murray, Westgate's favorite player. But and that's the thing, is people will be on Egypt because they think Argentina is washed up. Jesse Schul said Lionel Messi was washed up. I don't agree with that. I think he's still good enough, but Jesse's in our chat, so he'll respond. But it wouldn't surprise me if Argentina absolutely spank Egypt on Tuesday.
All right. Joey was asking if anybody's still holding Colombia 40-1. Carmine gave it out here on the show. I was not able to get 40-1. Let me double check what I got. I got Colombia 33-1. And at this point, I'm going to need them to win the World Cup or the United States so that I can actually maybe break even on this tournament. So either Colombia or the United States, I will be cheering for both. I'm going to fast forward really quickly. I want to talk about Monday night before we run out of time, and then we can go back. Yeah. We can go back. I did not bet the United States the other night. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be mad no matter what happens. Okay. If I lay 1.5 and they win 1-0, I'm going to be pissed. If I bet the exact score 2-0, like Clint Farrar suggested I do, that pissed me off because I didn't bet it. And then it became a thing where I just was overthinking it. I was frustrated, to say the least, with some of the referee calls, particularly the red cards. So now the United States is without their best player. I was corrected yesterday at the barbecue. I thought he was only out for the first half of this game. He is out for the entirety of the game, and there's nothing the United States can do about that. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is no appeals process with FIFA for the World Cup, unfortunately. So he's going to miss this game. You know, that USA game, I originally had put a 5% play up, as you know, at -1, and I dropped it. And I told everyone who was a package holder, play this game now because it's going to steam. And the minute it steamed to like -1.25, -1.5, I took the package down because it's not right to sell something that is at 1.5 when the actual line is or the original line was -1. So I took it down. And then when it was 1-0 and the red card comes, I'm like, oh God, just give me a push out of this. But somehow Tillman curves a ball into the net. USA wins 2-0.
Oh, I'm going nuts. My dad and I are going nuts. Two soccer haters having an absolute great time cheering for the United States. And the internet got mad at me, Carm. They got mad at me because I was bashing soccer. And they're like, well, why watch? I'm like, because I love America. That's why. Is that okay with you? Like, I want to cheer for my team. And I want to cheer from upsets. But I do think that call was pretty egregious.
Listen, the original call on the field was not a red card. It was not even a serious foul. He got called over by VAR, and the official could have did the right thing. When they get called to the monitor, it's not the official going to the monitor because he wants to have a second look. It is VAR calling him to have a second look. He could have gone, looked at the monitor, and said, I am perfectly fine with my original decision. The guy came down with his foot. He was looking to land because he was up in the air, and the other player twisted his ankle, and he landed on his ankle. Lionel Messi, in a previous game earlier in this World Cup, put his studs on the guy's back of the guy's leg, accidental or not. And then the fans of Messi said, yes, but then he removed it and didn't follow through. That is not the point of studs. When you go with studs up, it is a red card if you make contact with a player. Messi didn't even get a yellow, but the Messi fans will attack you if you post something about it on Twitter or the X. So no, it should have never, ever been a red card in my mind. The referee had a chance to come back and just say, and I want to say this, that referee has only ever officiated 2 World Cup games. He officiated Spain and Saudi Arabia and the US one. Every other game he's officiated was in Brazil in their top league. It's like he was brought here for a reason and will never, because he's not scheduled to officiate another game again in the World Cup.
Good. I hope he never gets to ever again. Okay, so
but I will say this about the U.S. So let's talk about the U.S. I believe, okay, and this isn't a 4th of July, whatever, because I told you this when the line came out, that USA can and will win this game against Belgium. I don't think this is the best version of Belgium we've seen. Like, they've wasted a lot of their talent. They had generational talent for years. They were number 1 team as far as FIFA rankings go and never won a single trophy, made late runs, but were always eliminated in the knockout stages. The USA are playing extremely well. This one's at Lumen Field. The fans, the 12th fan is going to make so much noise at this game. And this is a Belgian team that, I don't even think they should have made it out of the last round against Senegal. A questionable penalty right at the end of extra time for them. Now, how did the USA replace Balogun? Because that's a huge miss. There's 3 options. You obviously go with likely Ricardo Pepe is going to be the one because it's a like-for-like substitution, and a like-for-like for those who aren't familiar is you take out a guy who's a center and plays up the middle, and you replace him with another guy who plays the exact same way. So he scored 19 goals in like 30-something games at PSV in Netherlands top league, the Eredivisie. You have Haji Wright, who played for Coventry in the English Championship, and he scored 17 goals in 40 games, and he scored a couple of goals, I believe, against Australia. He has 7 goals in 21 caps for the U.S., so caps being games played for a nation, in case you don't know what caps mean. Either one can go in there, or Maurizio Pochettino has been known to do this kind of stuff. He can move Christian Pulisic to the middle as a forward, bring in Gio Reyna on the wing, and you have 2 guys on the wing, and Christian Pulisic plays almost what's called a false 9, Kelly. A false 9 is someone who's supposed to be a forward who could drop to midfield and then has enough speed that he makes his runs up the middle when the guys on the wings create some space for him. So I believe that they'll be fine. They can replace Balogun for 1 game. He'll be back in there. But plus 160 on the U.S. to win, I think, is a very good price. And if you're worried about extra time, the to advance, which includes extra time and penalty kicks, is minus 110.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one that I've had to learn during my time at WagerTalk with Carmine. To advance is much different than the +1, the money line, the three-way line, the draw. The draws were so good early in the tournament. I knew that beautifulness just had to end, and I did not bet it yesterday, of course, with Argentina and Cape Verde. Why would I bet the draw with them? Carmine, let's talk another, I think, very interesting match, Portugal, Spain, because you had a hot take. Oh, wait, go ahead.
Yeah, listen.
You had a very hot take in our group chat about this match.
I did, and I had Portugal against Croatia as a 5% play. So the 5% has been going well. And Marco, I think, just heard me because he asked me what my 5% play is for today. I'm not telling him, but I will later on for my Italian brethren. I will let him know. But listen, Portugal did what they were supposed to do in that game. They were the much better team than Croatia, and I get it. People are going to complain about VAR. It was the proper call that was made. They stuck to the rules of the game. When you deviate from the rules, that's where the problems start. So in that goal that Croatia scored to tie it up at 2-2, it was an offside. So it came off of a player from Croatia, and then it skidded across the back of a Portugal player, and it went to a player who was in an offside position. Now, if the Portugal defender had headed the ball, or was looking to play the ball out of his the 15-yard box, then it goes backwards. He has now played that guy onside, even though he is offside. But it wasn't. He was trying to get out of the way of it, never play the ball, and that is why the guy who scored the goal was offside. And they have graphs, because there's ball technology now, they've put a sensor in the ball as well too, that shows at the moment in which it hit the player's head and so on and so forth. So I get it. People are pissed off. And normally they're pissed off if they're not fans of Croatia. They're pissed off because they had money on Croatia. So I get it. I absolutely get it. But my hot take on this one.
Me. I had money on Croatia. I was very pissed off.
Yes, I know. I had Portugal. I was very happy about it. But I will say this. I honestly believe that Portugal has a very good chance of beating Spain. And you look at the line, and I had so many people tell me, oh, I can't wait till this line comes out. I'm going to completely smash Spain, 150, 160, 170, 180. Spain opened up at -105. They're about -115. If they were that superior a team, we wouldn't be talking about why the odds on this one are so close. -110 as of this morning. Portugal's +295. The total sits at +265.
Question. Yep. The winner of that game plays the winner of USA Belgium. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Just wanted
Wouldn't you rather play Portugal?
I don't know. Listen, I know Ronaldo is not the GOAT, right? I know that. I know he's the best looking guy. Well, kind of. There's debates there too, but he's a good looking guy. So women fawn over him, but that doesn't make him the greatest soccer player to ever live. That would be probably Pele. No. What could we argue?
Yeah, Maradona for me, before he ran. Well, whatever happened to him after soccer, you know what I mean, with like having vices and addictions is one thing, but on the field, the man was absolutely spectacular, and he scored the hand of God goal against England.
Ooh, that's right.
Where his fist, there was no VAR. His fist put the fist to the head, and he punched it into the net, but there's no VAR replay at time. But listen,
I hate VAR.
With regards to this game, Roberto Martinez, the Spanish coach who is coaching Portugal, he's taking no prisoners. He took off Ronaldo, who had played every single minute of every game thus far. He took him off with about 10 minutes left in that game, and Ronaldo was fighting his ego. If you watched him coming off, he was in shock that he was being taken off. But I think he realized in that moment, he did not want to look, for lack of a better word, a douche. and complained that he was being subbed off. And then, of course, they bring on the guy who I think should be starting for Portugal, Gonzalo Ramos, the super sub, who scores the winning goal for Portugal in that game on a beautiful header. I mean, this is the last World Cup for Ronaldo. It definitely is. And Ramos is going to be their starting player. What happens in this game is I wouldn't be surprised. It's not going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me if Ronaldo played the second half and not the first half of this game, figuring that this game could very well go to extra time and or penalty kicks, and you want Ronaldo in there taking penalty kicks for you if it went that far.
Okay, so let's fast forward. I know we have like 4 minutes left, but I want to know. So United States has to beat Belgium. Whoever wins, Spain, Portugal. I don't know. I got this 80-1 USA ticket, Carm. That's just like
I say you hold. You hold.
I know I hold. I only bet a nickel on it. I only bet a nickel on it. I'm already regretting not betting a dime on it. I bet a nickel on it because I wanted something to cheer for during the World Cup. And now I've got it, but my brain is already spinning. I'm already on to next week. You know how that works for me.
Yeah, no, I know. The interesting game, the only other interesting game I really wanted to sort of discuss is the Mexico-England game.
Ooh.
There were reports that England had booked like about 10 to 15 different hotels and playing like shadow games, basically so the Mexican fans, because what they did to Ecuador was absolutely insane and kind of sick. Where they flooded their hotel outside, cars, honking horns, blaring stuff. So Ecuador could not get any sleep the day before the game or the night before the game. And the Mexican police aren't going to come and clear that area out. They just let them do it. And I don't know if it had an effect on Ecuador on the field, but it certainly seemed like it. The one thing here is England's a much better team than Ecuador, and it's the best team that Mexico has faced. The game's at Azteca Stadium, Kelly. It's 7,000 plus feet above sea level, so the air is thinner there. There have been rumors, but it's not true. There is rumors that the U.S. players would be taking Viagra, believe it or not, for this game. Because what I just think it's kind of funny, but what Viagra is supposed to do is it's supposed to open up your lungs, and it helps with like high blood pressure or what have you. And that is not happening. There was talk about England doing it in 2010. They are not going to do it. Obviously, oxygen is crucial to breathing. Your lungs need enough oxygen to sort of cycle through the body. So having a blood thinner in there to open up your lungs is kind of important. I can't believe we're talking about Viagra on a soccer show, but we're on last call. But I believe
Dado Chosinko used to say he took Viagra before every single Bengals game. And when I worked at Bleacher Report, I actually believed it because that is what it does. It opens up your blood flow. I mean, that's just to your whole body, not to just parts that it also helps open up blood flow too.
If you ask a lot of people who jog, they will tell you in the morning they have a shot of espresso. A shot of espresso opens up your lungs and makes it easier to breathe as you're going. So
I just have it just to survive.
But I think that England's going to make it through Mexico. Winning at Azteca Stadium is extremely hard. Mexico's only ever lost there twice in their history. I think they've
Would you argue that the whole world is going to be on Mexico because of that stat? I mean, I've had so many people that know nothing about soccer tell me they think Mexico is going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's priced that way. You know what I mean? Like it's 205 on Mexico, 220 on the draw, plus 140. It wouldn't surprise me if this game was a draw. The total shaded 70 cents to the under on the 2.5, and even the two advances plus 105 on Mexico, minus 135 on the Three Lions. So it is one of those things where they're expecting a tight game, could go to extra time. England does not allow a lot of goals. They're a very good defensive team, very good midfield.
The comment section is wild right now. Sorry, I had to drop that in there.
But it wouldn't surprise me. thing with Mexico is, listen, they're having a phenomenal run. They're loving it. Azteca Stadium has been phenomenal for fan bases. But let's remember that the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals will all be played in the U.S. They won't be playing at Azteca Stadium anymore if they get by England. It's a little different. But with that said, the traveling fans are unbelievable. Mexico's traveling fans are very good. The Colombia fans are the best. I am loving Colombia. Every stadium is yellow. Did you see Arrowhead? Arrowhead Stadium was all yellow yesterday. There was like a spattering of Ghana fans, and it was all Colombian fans. And now they have to make their way up to Canada to play Switzerland, who I think they will beat Switzerland and advance to the quarterfinals, where they would face the winner of Egypt and Argentina.
All right, Carmine, really quickly, so we can get out of here. Robert has your package. Let everyone know where they can get your package first and foremost, and how they can join your private Discord channel, and anything else they need to know about this epic run that you've been on during the World Cup.
If you have a World Cup package, just send an email to our customer service, support@WagerTalk.com. Keep in mind, today is, I think we have a skeleton crew working, but keep in mind today is the 4th of July. They will give you the invite code after they check your account to make sure you have it. Or you can also head to my page at WagerTalk if you don't have the package, and it's like $99 now, and you get every single play, prop, side, future, and total. And I have a 5% play up for today and a 4% play up for today in these two games. And my weekend and Monday, Tuesday games will be up a little later today. But I've already told you one of them, and that is that I am taking the U.S. This has nothing to do with the 250-year celebration, the U.S. July 4th of July. The USA right now are a better team than Belgium, and plus 160 and plus 110, or sorry, minus 110 on the 2-way line. You could literally split your bet. Take the plus 160, and if you're worried about the game going to extra time, you're covered on the minus 110 if it goes to extra time and the USA wins it. I trust Mauricio Pochettino. He has the culture in that dressing room for the U.S. at an all-time high. This team believes in themselves. They're playing in a home stadium at Lumen Field, where it's going to be noisy as F, and they're going to bring it. So have faith in your team, everyone. USA minus 160 on Monday. Plus 160.
USA. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July. Thank you to Adam Trigger. Thank you to Marco D'Angelo. Thank you to Carmine Bianco, who again has just been on a hell of a run. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, right here. Wager Talks Last Call. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us here every single Saturday on Wager Talk.